Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to talk about is a new watch that come out, in fact, sort of a new type of watch that came out with a company called Gucci. Gucci is the most recognized name in luxury, and they're not known as a watchmaker. They have an extensive line of women's watches and even men's watches that are essentially considered fashion watches. Most of them have ronda quartz movements, and they're not sort of what collectors or even connoisseurs of having a nice timepiece would consider. And so they thought, well, we're going to get into this, and they called it high watchmaking, which is pretty much the same thing. Okay, this first one is called the Gucci 25H, and it has a caliber GG 727.25A movement. And this is a 3 hertz movement, which I think is great. The dial itself, it's time only, hour and minutes, doesn't even have a second hand, a very formal watch. It has you can't see the crown. It has an invisible crown. It's a stainless steel case, and it has an integrated bracelet with the case, a sapphire crystal front and back. Now, the important thing about, if you have a sapphire in the back, that means the movement itself is a pretty cool looking movement, at least they think so. Now, this entry level one is 8,200 euro. That's about it's almost $10,000, $9,929, and the whole watch itself is very clean, very clear. The thing that's interesting that I sort of like, they put the caliber of the watch on the front, right at the bottom down there. You can see a little sort of reddish purple, says GG 727.25A. Okay, that lets you know. It's got the lume at the tips of the two hands and also at the tops of the indexes. When we look at the movement has, I just pointed out 3 things. First of all, there's a hidden crown. I mentioned it had a hidden crown, and it just sort of over the lip of the bezel. It has a micro rotor. Now, the thing about a micro rotor that's nice is that you can keep the watch thin. And when you're making a more formal watch, and I think this is what Gucci was shooting for, you want a thinner watch. The regulator, this is considered the traditional regulator. It has a variable inertia balance wheel with it's got a full bridge for it. Now, to me, the only problem with this movement is that they have these giant plates. They've got that one bridge, and you can't see anything other than the micro rotor and and sort of the parts of the regulator. But otherwise, it's a pretty decent looking watch, pretty decent looking movement too. Now, they have another one also called the Gucci 25H, but it has a caliber GG 727.25T for tourbillon. And so instead of having a regular or traditional regulator, they put in a tourbillon regulator, and then you can see it through the front. I mean, that's one of the major purposes of a tourbillon, is that you can see it. It's supposed to give you better regulation too when you move around a lot. Now, this one costs 120,000 euros in gold and 170,000 euros in platinum. That's $145,000 in US dollars and 205,000 for the platinum one. Now, in order to understand the context of this, is that you have to look at Gucci in the context of the Kering Group. This is the French group that owns the watches, pretty much like Swatch has a bunch and Richemont has a bunch. This one has a number, and 3 of them are very important. Well, with Gucci, there are 2 other ones, Girard-Perregaux and Ulysse Nardin. Now, they operate, their watchmaking is in La Chaux-de-Fonds, which is a famous town in Switzerland for watchmaking outside of Geneva and some of the other places. And I think Ulysse Nardin is up the road like about 9 or 10 miles in Le Loc. So anyway, so you have them, and this is where the Gucci watchmaking center is. You've got about 95% of Gucci is making handbags and scarves and things like that. But this, in maybe 5%, is in their watchmaking center. That's in Les Choux de Fonds. They have all of the help they need from both Gerard Perregaux and Ulysse Nardin. Well, listen, I would like to hear your opinions of this, what you think, and whether they'll have a pretty good watch or not. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. And remember, it's an opportunity to subscribe if you'd like.